On May 9th, Russia held its annual Victory Day parade on Red Square in Moscow. This year's event was particularly significant due to key backdrops. It marked the 80th anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War, and the Russia-Ukraine conflict had entered its third year. So, what signals did this special Victory Day parade convey? Many initially expected that, being the 80th anniversary of World War II victory, the parade would be full of highlights. However, most viewers were likely left disappointed. This parade lacked the grandeur of previous ones. With only 9,000 military personnel participating and fewer than 50 armored vehicles in the motorized column, the entire event lasted just 45 minutes, nearly half the duration of past parades. More notably, in previous Red Square parades, at least several new or upgraded weapon systems were showcased. But this year, almost all the equipment on display was old. Advanced weapons such as the Shrunk hypersonic missile, Su-57 stealth fighter, and Sarmat heavy intercontinental missile were all absent. Even the highly anticipated T-1 for Armata tank was nowhere to be seen, making the parade seem lacking in sincerity. Many military enthusiasts even criticized it as perfunctory. Why weren't these advanced weapons shown? The answer is straightforward: insufficient production capacity. Years of sanctions have plunged Russia's military industry into a crisis, facing shortages of chips, precision instruments, and manufacturing equipment. This isn't just a crisis in weapon display. It's a structural dilemma within Russia's entire military, industrial complex. This was also the first time in Russian history that the parade took place during a nationwide internet blackout. It was extremely difficult to access live broadcasts of the parade. Except for a few media outlets, there were hardly any live, streaming channels available, and the usual individual live streams were nowhere to be found. What caused this? Russia had cut off internet access, not just in Moscow but also in several surrounding regions, including Yaroslavl Oblast, Tver Oblast, and Novgorod Oblast. On that day, 60% of Russia's territory was plunged into digital silence. During the blackout, mobile internet services were shut down, leaving only 3G voice communication available. The main reason behind this was the severe threat from Ukraine. Previously, Putin announced a 3-day ceasefire on the front line during Victory Day, but Zelensky responded that if there was to be a ceasefire, it should last 30 days. Otherwise, Ukraine would not participate. Additionally, Zelensky made a thought-provoking statement, suggesting that he couldn't guarantee the safety of foreign leaders attending the parade. To prove he wasn't bluffing, on the night of May 7th to 8th, Ukraine launched an unprecedented large-scale drone attack on Moscow, sending over 100 drones. The most threatening one reached an area near Kosovskoye Highway in Moscow, just 10 kilometers away from Red Square. Facing such a serious threat, Russia couldn't afford to take any chances. No one could be certain whether Ukraine would launch an attack on Victory Day. Even if a single drone managed to penetrate the defenses without exploding, it would be a major incident. Therefore, Russia took various measures to ensure the parade's safety. Closing airports and all commercial establishments along the parade route were standard procedures. The internet was cut off because the Russian military discovered that Ukraine's new Siren 7 drones used 5G signal relay guidance and relied on ground-based stations for course correction. Cutting off mobile internet was like severing the digital nervous system of these drones. Additionally, within a 3.2-kilometer radius along the parade route, Russia deployed TCOM-3 full-band electromagnetic jamming devices, creating a 5-kilometer wide signal blackout zone. This was not only to defend against drones, but also to prevent potential threats from communicating in real time. Moreover, the airspace above Red Square was protected by the densest air defense network in history, with an air defense missile deployment density of 3.2 systems per square kilometer, 4.7 times that of the 2020 parade. Another aspect worthy of attention was the list of participating countries. With the Russia-Ukraine conflict still ongoing, a leader's attendance at the Moscow parade could easily be interpreted as taking Russia's side. This year, leaders from China, Myanmar, Vietnam, Brazil, Mongolia, Venezuela, and almost all CIS countries attended. Leaders like Alexander Vucic of Serbia and Robert Fico of Slovakia defied pressure from Europe and made the trip to Moscow. However, in important events like this, Who doesn't show up often matters more than who does. At least two leaders who were expected to attend did not. The first was Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Modi and Putin have always had a good relationship, so logically he should have attended, especially since he participated in the 70th anniversary Victory Day parade in 2015. This time, Modi declined the invitation and only sent the Deputy Defence Minister. Using the excuse of the tense India-Pakistan situation, it was clear to everyone that Modi has been getting closer to Western countries recently. With Jake Sullivan's recent visit to India, Modi's absence was likely a way to signal to the West that he didn't want to take sides. The second was Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi. Given the close relationship between Russia and Iran, the Iranian leader should have been present. Even if Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei couldn't attend due to health reasons, the president could have come. Instead, Iran only sent its representative in Russia. Interestingly, there was also a leader who was rumored to attend but didn't: Donald Trump. As early as January this year, there were rumors of a special US guest at the Victory Day parade, and Trump was the prime suspect, considering the friendly exchanges between him and Putin at that time and his efforts to broker a ceasefire in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. But as the prospect of a ceasefire faded, Trump lost interest, and he decided not to go. Then there were reports that he might send Marco Rubio, and the White House didn't deny this. In the end, neither Trump nor Rubio attended, and only the US ambassador to Russia was present at the parade. During this parade, Putin also clearly demonstrated different levels of closeness with various countries. It was evident that he showed special affinity towards two countries, China and North Korea. For example, in terms of seating arrangements during the parade, meetings with guests, and even during the afternoon tea, Putin gave China's leader extremely high-level treatment. In his parade speech, Putin emphasized that Russia highly values the heroic struggle of the Chinese people and the contributions of all those who fight for peace and the future, clearly addressing these words to the Chinese leader beside him. Throughout the parade, Putin engaged in conversations with Xi Jinping, which likely lasted for about 10 minutes in total, and the live broadcast repeatedly showed these interactions. The message they intended to convey was obvious. Regarding North Korea, many had expected that the North Korean troops who participated in the Battle of Kursk would form a separate formation for the parade. For unknown reasons, this didn't happen. So, how did Russia highlight North Korea's contribution? After the parade, during Putin's meeting with foreign military representatives, while other countries were represented by one person, North Korea had 5 representatives. This made Putin's interaction with the North Koreans particularly long. Putin even embraced a North Korean general, using this gesture to emphasize North Korea's special status. So, what was the deeper meaning behind this parade? In truth, the parade itself was just a formality. The key was the message Russia wanted to convey. Since the start of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, Russia has been isolated by the Western Bloc, and its international environment has deteriorated sharply. Besides participating in international events such as the United Nations General Assembly, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the Collective Security Treaty Organization, and the Eurasian Economic Union, Russia has been excluded from many important international conferences. It has even been barred from participating in major international sports and cultural events under its national name. Over the past 3 years, many countries have distanced themselves from Russia. When Russian foreign minister visits these countries, he often faces the humiliation of having his country's airspace closed. Such actions have seriously undermined Russia's international influence. By using the 80th anniversary of World War II victory as an opportunity to gather a group of countries, Russia aimed to break through its diplomatic isolation and restore its influence. Looking at the countries Russia invited, which included those from Latin America, Africa, the Middle East, and East Asia, it was clear that Russia was actively working to reassert itself as a major global power and a permanent member of the UN Security Council, seeking to regain its say in international affairs. Moreover, by highlighting its relations with China and North Korea, Russia was clearly looking to leverage their support. Putin's show of closeness with China was strategic, as China possesses both advanced military technology and substantial arms production capacity. If Russia could persuade China to relax some export controls, it might gain a significant advantage on the battlefield before a ceasefire, securing more bargaining chips for future negotiations. Embracing North Korea was also strategic, given North Korea's large military force. According to the latest data, the North Korean People's Army has around 1.2 million active duty personnel, accounting for about 6% of the country's total population, ranking 4th globally. Additionally, North Korea recognizes Russia's sovereignty over the four South Kuril Islands, leaving the door open for further military cooperation. Of course, seeking support from other countries comes at a cost. For North Korea, this might mean Russia providing food, energy, and military technology. For China, Russia's offerings would likely be more complex. What exactly did Russia offer China? We can perhaps get some clues from the China-Russia joint statement. First, China and Russia dedicated 1/10 of the statement to historical issues, specifically highlighting the issue of Japan's resurgence of militarism. This was clearly a response to Japan's frequent meddling in the Taiwan Strait issue, at China's request. Second, Russia reaffirmed its stance on the Taiwan issue, recognizing that there is only one China in the world. Taiwan is an inalienable part of the People's Republic of China, and the government of the People's Republic of China is the sole legal government representing the whole country. Including this in the statement was China's way of promoting the One China principle on the international stage, ensuring that all countries have a clear understanding of it. Third, the joint statement added a clause opposing tariff wars. Since Russia is not greatly affected by tariff wars, this addition was clearly at China's behest. Fourth, the two sides declared their firm resolve to counter the United States' dual containment strategy against China and Russia. Using the word counter instead of oppose indicated that China and Russia intended to translate this commitment into practical actions. Why was this clause included? Russia was reassuring China, demonstrating its continued commitment to the back partnership and that it would not seek rapprochement with the United States. Overall, while the joint statement reflected the consensus of both sides in terms of content, emphasis, and length, it was clear that China played a leading role. In return, Russia likely obtained what it wanted through this parade. This parade could well mark a crucial turning point, after which the Russia-Ukraine conflict will enter a new phase.